My. Ain't it a pretty night? Welcome, my brothers and my sisters. Welcome to the Cosmos Club, but I could also just as accurately say, welcome to a little slice of heaven. Nope. Welcome to this big patch of heaven. We got some heavenly things going on here tonight. A lot of heavenly things going on tonight. We have music, we have literature, we have painting, we have each other, and we have a mission to turn this world around one heart at a time, one song at a time, starting right here, right now. So you're in for some good magic. This magic would not happen, however, without some people who had the vision, the heart, the mind, the soul, the spirit, all those good things that make good things happen. And so many of you know who you are. And I'm going to tell some of you who you are, and you may not even know that you are doing all that. Eddie and Sylvia Brown. Ever supportive, ever visionary. Cheryl Fiegel of the Arts Committee here at, there you are, Arts Committee here at the Cosmos Club. We have members of this wonderful choir from Maryland's Eastern Shore, Prepare to be Dazzled. And later on, I will tell you a little bit more about the magnificent Senator Adelaide Eckhart and her husband, Richard. Just stay tuned for that. But right now, we're going to move into what we're doing tonight. This night is unusual because we are not only celebrating the history and the impact of Maryland's founding families. Now, these are the men and the women, some enslaved, some free, who rolled up their sleeves and they made Maryland what Maryland is today. They made Maryland, they built the houses, they farmed the farms, they built an economy that they should be proud of, and they have a glowing place in the history of the United States of America. We're going to celebrate them, the founding families. We're going to celebrate them through the art that was produced, paintings that were produced of them by the wonderful Ruth Starr Rose, whose paintings are on view here at the Cosmos Club. And we are going to celebrate their legacy and their impact through the music that they knew and loved so well. Not only they did, but Ruth Starr Rose, who worshiped right alongside them with this magnificent music. Here with me tonight is our musical guide. Tell everybody who you are.
I'm Richard Potter.
I love to hear him say Potter. This is indeed Richard Potter.
Thank you.
He's our musical guide tonight. Do you tell us more about it? Well, before we tell about you, we tell about Ree. Ree, where are you? Ree is hiding, even though Ree has so much to say about the Maryland Spiritual Initiative. Please welcome Ree Joseph.
Hello, good night. Sorry, 1 second. It's hard to follow after LaFleur. As you can tell, no one can speak like that. But I will try. So, curated by the Water's Edge Museum's creative director, Kentavius Jones, and organized by the director of the Maryland Spirituals Initiative, me, is an intergenerational group of Maryland singers and musicians coming together to share in the Eastern Shore tradition of singing African American spirituals and classic gospel while teaching the importance to all who will listen and who want to learn, like the rest of you who are here tonight. The Maryland Spirituals Initiative aims to continue a global conversation about the essential role of spirituals as one of America's most compelling and elusive art forms. And the ensemble you see here tonight is comprised of various sources, including the Union Baptist Church members, Tidewater Singers, Covenant Choir, the North Meets South Voice and Guitar Duo, Seventh-day Adventist Church members, and Salisbury University alums. Tonight, our ensemble of Maryland Spirituals Initiative singers will present a selection of spirituals that are a part of the historical and cultural fabric of Maryland's Eastern Shore. But reminder, just as important as it is to hear these spirituals, it is just as important to learn from what they meant and their importance, not only to the Black community, but as the soundtrack to the struggle of an American fight for freedom and liberty. Thank you.
We're having a little musical conversation here. Prepare to be dazzled by this magnificent Richard Potter. This is Richard Potter.
Thank you. So we're going to go ahead and get our program started tonight because that's what you all came here for. And we're going to take you on a journey. Negro spirituals. Negro spirituals are songs created by the Africans who were captured and brought to the United States to be sold into slavery. This stolen race was deprived of their languages, families, and cultures. Yet their masters could not take away their music. Over the years, the slaves and the descendants adopted Christianity, the religion of their masters, and they reshaped it into what deeply personal way of dealing with the oppression of their enslavement. Their songs, which were to become known as spirituals, reflected the slaves needed to express their new faith. Spirituals were created extemporaneously and were passed orally from person to person. These folk songs were improvised and suited the singers. There's a record of approximately 6,000 spirituals or sorrow songs. However, the oral traditions of the slaves' ancestors and the prohibition of slaves learning to read or write meant that the actual number of songs is unknown. Some of the best known spirituals include Sometimes I Feel Like a Motherless Child, Nobody Knows the Trouble I've Seen, Steal Away, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, Go Down Moses, He's Got the Whole World in His Hands, Every Time I Feel the Spirit, Let Us Break Bread Together on Our Knees and Wade in the Water. An old Black lady in the South showed me something about Negro spirituals that I would like to share with you tonight. She said to me, "Son, did you know that just about all Negro spirituals are written using the Black notes on the piano?" This is absolutely true. I know that some of you are sitting there tonight with skepticism, but it's true. Just listen. There are 5 Black notes on the piano. And the same Black notes keep reoccurring. Tonight, after this, you'll be able to go home, sit down at your piano, and play Negro spirituals using just 5 Black notes. Listen. Just 5 Black notes. Slaves did not come to America with do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That was somebody else's scale. All they had on their musical scale were 5 Black notes, which is known as the pentatonic scale, and they built the power and pathos of Negro spirituals on 5 notes. When you study music, you come across white spirituals. They are white composers who worked with the scale in early America known as the slave scale or black notes. Tonight, before we move ahead in our program, I will ask Leroy to play what some musicologists think is the most famous white spiritual built on the slave scale or black note. Does anyone know who wrote that song? Who wrote the song? John Newton. John Newton wrote that song. Do you know what John Newton did before he became a Christian? He was a captain of a slave ship, and many believe that he heard this melody that sounds very much like a West African sorrow chant. And he wrote the words to Amazing Grace and set his words to a slave melody. Tonight, we open our concert with Annabelle Medley, Reed Joseph, and Dr. John Wesley Wright singing I Woke Up This Morning.
This morning with my mind
stayed on Jesus.
Well, I woke up this morning with my mind
Stayed on Jesus.
Oh, I woke up this morning with my mind
Stayed on Jesus. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
I Woke Up This Morning is a freedom song made as a revamp of the old gospel song, I Woke Up This Morning with My Mind on Jesus, in the 1960s. It is one of many similar songs during the Civil Rights Movement. The song was created by Reverend Robert Wesby of Aurora, Illinois, in the Hinds County Jail during the Freedom Rides. Ezekiel Saw the Wheel is an African-American spiritual music arranged by William L. Dawson. It has been recorded by such artists as Woody Guthrie, Paul Robeson, John Lee Hooker, the Dixon Hummingbirds, the Tillers, the Fisk Jubilee Singers, the Charioteers, and the Gold City. The song recounts the Old Testament prophet Ezekiel's divine vision, described at the start of the eponymous book. Tonight, Ezekiel Saw the Wheel will be sung with lead by Mr. Dwayne Lovett. The history of Nobody Knows the Trouble I've Seen date back to the early 19th century when African American and religious music gained a new perspective due to the ongoing Civil War in the United States of America. Similar religious songs were composed by slaves in the southern parts of the USA, both prior to and during the war. Nobody Knows the Trouble I've Seen endeavors to offer the message that sorrow isn't the end of the road. As human beings, we all suffer. However, in our baser moments, we tend to cling on the assumptions that other human beings may not have suffered as much. This fallacy arises from the simple fact that we cannot really feel each other's pain. We can only realize our own sufferings. A situation that may cause us fear or anxiety in one person may not cause the same level of pain to one another. This is further explained by the fact that we fail to move from our sufferings. We are frequently urged to grow up and get over it, as if it's just a trivial exercise that can be accomplished in the blink of an eye. We are urged to leave everything in the hands of God. The important fact is, no matter how lonely or down you are, no matter how terrible life seems to be, the Almighty is aware of everything and will be waiting for you on the other side. We are never alone. Jesus is always there, casting a watchful eye over us. The song also addresses the theme of loneliness, its effect in one's life. It also describes the herald blindness of the oppressor, followed by the traumatic events of oppression. The song doubles down on the intense feeling of sadness or sorrow in conjunction with its polar opposite, faith. It urges everyone to put their faith in Jesus, highlighting the fact that nobody knows but Jesus. Tonight, we are fortunate to have Mr. Mondre Hastings, soloist, to sing "Nobody Knows the Trouble I've Seen."
Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Nobody knows but Jesus. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Glory, hallelujah. Oh, every day for you I've prayed. Oh, yes, Lord, that you would guide my sins away. Oh, yes, Lord. Oh, nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Nobody knows but Jesus. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Glory, hallelujah. Oh, glory, hallelujah. Oh, glory, hallelujah.
An old woman gave the late Reverend James Cleveland the inspiration for "I Don't Feel No Ways Tired." She was exhausted, bone weary. Her feet were swollen, her back ached, and was short of breath. She'd been walking a long and dusty road filled with potholes and fallen branches. She had a hard life, the kind of life where you get up every day knowing that people are going to hate you and demean you and mistreat you just because of who you are. How do you keep walking that road day after day, year after year, decade after decade? For this woman, the answer was God, her protector, her redeemer, her sanctifier, and her liberator. You may ask yourself, how does he know that? If you listen to Reverend James Cleveland, I Don't Feel No Ways Tired, at approximately 3 minutes and 46 seconds, the bass slips into a deep, soulful, ostinato groove, and the choir follows along, repeating the affirmation of faith, I don't believe he's brought me this far, and then carries it through the full range of the human vocal and emotional experience for the next 3 minutes of the song. Tonight, we are pleased to bring to the stage Reed Joseph singing a classic from the late, great James Cleveland, I Don't Feel No Ways Tired.
Don't feel no waste time. I've come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy. He's brought me this far to leave me.
How do we move on after that? Negro spirituals falls into three basic categories. 1, call and response. 2, slow and melodic. And 3, fast and rhythmic. In the next 2 selections, we experience all 3 in the narrative. Preacher-like style of witness, and the slow, sustained, and longly expressive lines of the city called heaven. Please give a warm welcome to North Meets South, Dr. John Wesley Wright, and Dr. Danielle Cumming.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. John Wesley Wright, professor of voice at Salisbury University. Thank you, Salisbury University. Thank you. Is this the part where you talk about the Performing Arts Center, Barbara? Yes, we need one. Okay, great. We got that out of the way. And this is Dr. Danielle Cumming, guitar professor. And I just want to say that thank you for this glorious event. And I am one, I do a lot with spirituals, and I am one that believes that you can have a spiritual experience by yourself, but you need a community to have a spirituals experience. So, so we have taken this next piece, Witness, which would normally be sung in a concert, classical concert form, and adapted it to involve everyone, including you. So I think we give them a little bit of, what's the key? All right, so here's your part. For my Lord, for my Lord, you're hired. Okay? So when you hear see the signal and you hear the word witness, that usually means you're about to sing, for my, help them out. For my Lord. And then second, for my Lord. And then just watch for the big ending. I'll signal you and we'll do for my Lord at the very, very end. And then we'll take it on the road. All right. I'm the grandson of a preacher, John Wesley Howard, and I'm going to do my best to channel. Oh, Lord, what manner of man is this? All nations in him are blessed. All things are done by his will. He spoke to the sea and the sea stood still. Now ain't that a witness for my Lord? Ain't that a witness for my Lord? Ain't that a witness for my Lord? My soul is a witness for my Lord. Well, the one be taught out of human sight. Nicodemus was a man desiring to know how a man can be born when he is old. Christ told Nicodemus as a friend, "Man, you must be born again." He said, "Marvel not, man, if you wanna be wise. Repent, believe, and be baptized. Then you'll be a witness for my Lord. You'll be a witness for my Lord. Oh, you'll be a witness for my Lord. Soul is a witness for my Lord." You read about Samson from his birth, strongest man that ever lived on earth. Way back yonder in ancient times, he killed 10,000 of the Philistines. Then old Samson went wandering about. Samson's strength was never found out till his wife sat upon his knees. She said, "Tell me where your strength lies, if you please." Samson's wife, she talked so fair. Samson said, "Cut off of my hair, shave my head just as clean as your hand, and my strength will become like a natural man." Oh, Samson was a witness for my Lord. Oh, Samson was a witness for my Lord. Oh, Samson was a witness for my Lord. Soul is a witness for my Lord. There's another witness for my Lord. Oh, that's another witness for my Lord. Oh, you can be a witness for my soul is a witness for my Lord. My soul is a witness for my Good job. How you doing? Great. Doesn't this feel good? Spirituals, it's the word spirit in there for a reason. A term not coined until much later than the songs actually existed. So, but it's a beautiful word. So. I am a poor pilgrim of sorrow. I'm tossed in this wide world alone. No hope have I for tomorrow. I've started to make heaven my home. Sometimes I am storm-tossed and driven, Lord. Sometimes I don't know where to roam. and I've started to make it my home, my home. My mother has reached that pure glory. My father still walking in sin. My brothers and sisters won't own me because I am trying to get in. Sometimes I am storm-tossed and driven, Lord. Sometimes I don't know where to roam. But I've heard of a city called heaven, and I've started to make it my home. Sometimes I am storm-tossed and driven, Lord. Sometimes I don't know where to roam. But I have heard of a city called heaven, so I've started to make it my home, my home, my home.
So I have made an error, and because I do want to get back across the bridge, I want to go back and correct the error. So I skipped over this little light of mine that we're all familiar with. So we will bring back the Maryland Spiritual Ensemble Choir to give us this little light of mine, led by Mrs. Janet Goldsboro. I think that I may have redeemed myself, so now I have a ride home. Nothing is more personal than prayer. It is our line of communication to God. Emotions run deeply in this form of devotion. Whether our prayers express joy or sadness, praise or lament, reconciliation or contrition, prayer touches the most inner depths of our being. Enslaved Africans created a genre of songs born out of the harrowing experience of the daily struggle, yet filled it with the hope that God was in control and would deliver them out of their bondage. It is me, O Lord, reveals the intimate nature of prayer. It's my mother or father, sister or brother, or preacher or deacon that needs prayer. It's me. After praying for everyone else, it's time to take my petition. I need God to do what I know God can do. St. Augustine of Hippo, a 5th century saint of African descent, describes prayer in this manner. For in most cases, prayer consists more of groaning than speaking, in tears rather than words. But he setteth our tears in his sight, and our groaning is not hidden from him, who made all things by the word, and does not need human words. With all that the enslaved Africans endured, tears and groanings were likely commonplace in their prayer. Tonight, the choir will render the traditional Negro spiritual of standing in the need of prayer. Swing low, sweet chariot. is an African American spiritual, also referred to as a Negro folk song. As a folk song, it is thought to have been created by a community rather than an individual. In this case, the community of African American slaves prior to the Civil War. However, one song collector, John Wesley Work, in his book, Folk Songs of the American Negro, reported a legend that it was composed by Hannah Shepherd of Tennessee in the mid-19th century. Work recounted that she created it in a desperate moment to solace a distraught slave who had learned that she would be sold to another plantation and thus separated from her infant daughter. Regardless of whether it originated from one composer or from a whole community, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot was a popular song, sung throughout the South by slaves, while they worked and during their occasional times of rest and prayer. The lyric uses biblical imagery and follow a slow, deep melody. They express their desire for a release from bondage and a return to home, geographically, the land of Africa, or spiritually, the peace of heaven. To this day, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot remained popular, performed by gospel singers throughout the world, imbuing audiences with religious spirituality. The first stanza consists of two repeated lines that introduce the main image of the poem, the chariot that descends from the sky to carry the speaker home. For some singers and listeners, the chariot may represent a path to freedom, offered by organized abolitionists through the Underground Railroad. For others, it could symbolize a chariot of the Lord offering transportation for the soul to heaven. This interpretation has its origin in the Bible, which contains descriptions of the chariots used in war as well as to transport honored souls, such as the prophet Elijah, to heaven. Since the chariot in the song is sweet, it suggests the conveyance to heaven more than battle and war. Psalm 68 in the Bible book of the Psalms, for example, depicts God as having thousands of chariots, a sign of his power. In addition to the imagery here, the stanza used alliteration, the S, in swing and sweet. This and all of the stanza exhibits alliteration of the K sound in coming and carry, two words from that repeated chorus. The chorus is meant to be sung by a group, whereas the first and third lines of each stanza are intended to be sung by an individual or spiritual leader. Let us welcome back the Maryland Spiritual Initiative Ensemble with their rendition of Swing Low, Sweet Chariot with lead vocalist Vera Thomas.
Swing low, swing low, swing low, come Swing low. Swing low, sweet chariot. Swing low. Swing low, sweet chariot. Coming for to carry me home. Oh, you gotta swing low. Swing low, sweet chariot. Swing low. Swing low, sweet chariot. Swing low. Swing low, sweet chariot. Coming for to carry me home.
Our last and final song, O Happy Day. This gospel-style arrangement of the hymn, O Happy Day, by Edwin Hawkins. I'm really going to need somebody to take me home tonight. Lord, help me to hold out. So, Lord, help me to hold out. So I'm truly needing the Lord to help me to hold out tonight. So at this time, we'll have back to the mic, Minister Dwayne Lovett, to sing Lord Help Me to Hold Out, along with Mr. Mondre Hastings. So I did get orders that we do have one more this time. So our final and last number and final song, Oh Happy Day, we also would like to dedicate this song to some good friends of ours who have been supporters to us down through the years, Richard and Senator Addie Eckert. We dedicate this song to you. We dedicate this song to you as you celebrate your 50th wedding anniversary. 44? 58? 58, wow. We hope and wish you 58 more years. So, Oh Happy Day by Edwin Hawkins has a long pedigree. It began as a hymn written in the mid-18th century. Oh Happy Day, That Fixed My Choice by English clergyman Philip Doddridge, based on Acts 8 and 35. Set to a 1704 melody by J.A. Frelinghuysen. By the mid-19th century, it had been given a new melody by Edward F. Rimbaud, who also added a chorus, and was commonly used for baptismal and confirmation ceremonies in the UK and the US. The 20th century, however, saw its adaptation and this new arrangement by the Hawkins, which contains only the repeated Rimbaud refrain, which all of the original verses being omitted. We invite you to sing with us in our final number, Oh Happy Day.
There is indeed a city called heaven. And this was a room in heaven right here tonight. You musicians walked through here, you dug deep, and you made one joyful noise, and it will not be something that we will forget for a long, long time. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We are proud tonight, proud and honored, deeply honored, to give you your first look at this magnificent publication. There is a city called heaven. So many of the spirituals you heard tonight are illustrated in this fine publication by none other than Ruth Starr Rose, whose paintings are on view, as you well know. I hope you've seen it here in the Cosmos Club. So we invite you to come and take another look at those from a new perspective and through a new lens of having heard the music, the spirituals that she illustrated so lovingly. James A. Porter, who created the art department at Howard University, he is known as the Dean of African American art scholars, art historians. And he called this the most exquisite collection of paintings. Who did the best job of bringing in the heart of the music of the spirituals. So please, please, please come out right through these doors, on the other side of these doors, and you will be able to put your hands on a city called heaven. Thank you ever so much for being here tonight. Barbara, would you please? Barbara Peka is the heart and the mind behind this. Barbara, who can move the earth, the sun, the moon, and all the stars, and she hates to get in front of a microphone.
No, there would be no tonight. This wouldn't be my friend, one of my best friends in the world, if it weren't for Eddie and Sylvia Brown. Who, thank you.
Thank you.
Seriously. You're responsible. We're going to always hold you responsible for this. So thank you. And Senator Eckert, there would be no Maryland Spirituals Initiative if it weren't for your kindness and compassion for the people of the Eastern Shore. So thank you for your years of service to all of us and to supporting these incredible singers. So thank you.
So please, join us on the other side of this door.
Yes, thank
Put your hands on the book.
And thank you, Richard.
And hands up, glass of champagne.
Oh, and Cheryl, sorry.
Well, I for sure have been going to the wrong church. This has been amazing, and it's something a little out of the ordinary for the Cosmos Club, as you might imagine. And whenever you do something a little out of the ordinary, there's always a danger of something going terribly wrong. And the more you push the envelope, the more perilous the journey. I can't imagine anything being more perfect than tonight. And it's because everyone here did what they did with dedication and with passion. And I really want to thank, above all, Barbara Peka, because you rediscovered, in my opinion, Ruth Starr Rose, and you shared her with the world. And thank you so much, LaFleur, Richard Potter, all these amazing singers, Dr. John Wesley, right? Leroy, thank you so much. Every single one of these singers was just amazing. I'd also like to thank Charles Asola, the chairman of the art committee at the Cosmos Club. Also, Tim Massad and Karen Thomas of the program committee. This event this evening was in the category of, you're going to have to trust me on this. And so I thank them for trusting me on this. I think it was just something amazing, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Please, let's celebrate, continue the celebration with some champagne, okay? Thank you so much for coming this evening.